Breaking news, the son of filmmaker and actor Rob Reiner now in custody, charged with killing both his parents. We have the latest from Los Angeles. And 15 people killed in a terror attack in Australia. What we're learning about the victims and the reaction locally as Hanukkah celebrations get underway. And the cleanup continues in Washington after devastating flooding. We'll hear from a local Red Cross volunteer helping out. Plus,
Ferrari is Italy.
We're getting you ready for the Winter Olympics in Milan. We stopped by the legendary Ferrari factory to see how it all started. And we start at noon with breaking news involving the death of Hollywood legend Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. Police now confirm that their son, Nick, is in custody. The couple were found dead in their home yesterday. At this point, police don't have a motive. Nick has spoken openly in the past of his troubles with addiction and has experienced homelessness.
We have our robbery homicide division handling the investigation. They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail.
Reiner's filmmaking career included the hit movies The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, and the classic This Is Spinal Tap. We'll look back at more of his life coming up at 12:30.
I think a legitimate question has been raised about how the father, the 50-year-old, had so many guns. That's Australia's former Prime Minister speaking after the massacre at Bondi Beach in Sydney. 2 gunmen targeted a Hanukkah celebration, killing at least 15 people. An emotional vigil was held last night to honor the victims. And we also have a new image of the man who wrestled a gun from one of the attackers. The New South Wales Premier posted this photo on Facebook from the hospital with Ahmed Al-Ahmed, who is recovering after being shot. And he's being lauded as a hero. This is the deadliest shooting in Australia in 3 decades, prompting calls for even stricter gun control. NBC's Sarah James has more.
Australia's Jewish community in mourning and the nation in shock after a seaside celebration of the Festival of Light became one of the darkest days in Australian history. 2 gunmen opened fire on a peaceful Hanukkah gathering. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation says police identified the gunmen as Sajid Akram, who died at the scene, and his 24-year-old son Naveed, who remains in custody at the hospital. Authorities saying the younger man's name had come up in a previous investigation in 2019. The massacre claimed 15 lives, a 10-year-old girl, a former police officer, 2 well-known rabbis.
The life was like leaving him, and then he just went.
Also killed, an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor who came to this idyllic spot to find peace and whose last act was to shield his wife. The horror attack has left dozens in the hospital. But officials say it would have been worse if not for Ahmed Al-Ahmed. The Sydney shopkeeper and Syrian immigrant tackled a gunman single-handed. He remains in the hospital after being shot, his parents proud. Hailed as a hero around the world.
He saved a lot of lives, so very brave person.
Some here asking how the alleged gunman amassed an arsenal in a country famous for strict gun control. Australia's Prime Minister today says laws may need to be even tougher and that more will need to be done to help the nation's Jewish community. A prominent Jewish leader here, whose friend died in the attack, says his community has been warning the government of a dangerous rise in anti-Semitism.
I can't imagine a time when the Jewish community will feel safe without looking over their shoulders.
The vigil continues at Bondi as those here grieve that the most famous beach in Australia is now also the most notorious.
What a tragedy. Well, Portland police tell us they will increase patrols at upcoming Jewish events across the city, including last night's Hanukkah celebration at Pioneer Courthouse Square. What was supposed to be a celebratory night turned somber after the attack in Australia. Jake Holter has a story.
People we spoke with here at the menorah lighting say they are just gutted by the shooting in Australia, but On this first night of Hanukkah, they say they will not be deterred from taking part in the festivities.
The message of the Hanukkah menorah is that light is stronger than darkness.
Terror in Australia after 2 shooters opened fire on a Hanukkah celebration in Bondi Beach. The shooters killed people from the ages of 10 to 87. One of them, a Chabad rabbi. That Chabad rabbi, Chaim Mishalevin here in Portland, has known for decades.
When I heard there was a Chabad rabbi especially that was murdered, it was really, really hurtful. And later I found out who it was, and I was like, oh man, I know Rabbi Eli, I know him for almost 25 years. Someone who really, really was dedicated to the community, always moving, always organizing, always coordinating, always helping others.
In Pioneer Courthouse Square, the first menorah lighting of this year's Hanukkah going on as planned, but also serving as a vigil for those who were killed.
Certainly to have it happen on the first night of Hanukkah was devastating to Jewish people around the world.
The first candle lit tonight with hundreds showing up, gathering both in celebration and solemn solidarity.
I'm going to come down here because I'm not going to let fear deter me. And, you know, this is the holiday of light and peace, and I'm here to celebrate, you know, the holiday, and I won't be deterred by anti-Semitism.
People showing up here tonight sends the message that we're not going away, we're not hiding, we are here, we have the right to be safe, we want to feel safe, and we want to make sure that our community leaders also understand the Jewish community is here and to help keep us safe.
And Portland police tell us they are increasing patrols at Jewish events and places of worship in response to the mass shooting in Australia. Jake Holter, KGW News.
And the search is back on for the gunman in the mass shooting at Brown University. Officials said late last night that they released a person of interest detained earlier in the day. They are still looking for the person seen in this video walking away from the crime scene. The gunman fired more than 40 rounds inside a classroom, killing 2 students and injuring 9 others. NBC News talked with a student who was walking through campus when he saw his classmate lying on the ground, shot.
How did you comfort your friend?
Just kept telling him he was okay and to breathe and just wait for the EMTs to arrive.
His classmate survived and is recovering in the hospital. Brown University has canceled all remaining classes and exams for the semester. Well, the Hood River County Sheriff's Office suspended the search for a 26-year-old man who was last seen trying to summit Mount Hood. The Sheriff's Office says Matthew Aldridge was reported missing Saturday. Aldridge kept climbing up the mountain by himself, even though 2 other climbers with him turned back because of the declining conditions. Phone data suggested Aldridge fell at some point, but efforts to find him both on the ground and in the air have been unsuccessful. The search is now considered a recovery mission. All right, Chris McGinnis joins us now. And Chris, how are conditions up on the mountain right now?
So pretty bad. 92-mile-an-hour wind gusts at the top of the Magic Mile lift. That's up at 7,000 feet at Timberline. So you can imagine rescuers' recovery operations right now battling really harsh conditions. Also very mild up there. Lowering snow levels is one of our stories for later on this week, but not today. Meanwhile, the here and now is that it's pretty breezy out there. In fact, downright windy. There still is a wind advisory along the North Oregon coast for another 45 minutes or so, and a wind advisory in the Cascades. Some of the big wind gusts that we've seen so far this morning, the Astoria-Megler Bridge and the Barview Jetty, that's near Garibaldi, 68 miles an hour each, Pacific City 55, and the Yaquina Bay Bridge, US 101 in Newport, clocking a 54-mile-an-hour wind gust earlier this morning. Meanwhile, it's been breezy up and down the I-5 corridor as well. Kelso notched a 43-mile-an-hour gust not too long ago, and at PDX at 11 o'clock we had a 36-mile-an-hour gust. So it's been breezy to go along with the rain out there. Futurecast does show the wind subsiding a bit as we go into the afternoon. It will be back significantly tomorrow night and into Wednesday. So it's a really breezy and wet first couple of days of the work week. And warm, 58 degrees last check at PDX. By the way, the record high for today is 59, and I think, unconfirmed, we've already done it. So there you go. Rare air here in December with temps in the 60s. We are getting a break in the rain. You can see the progress here over the last 3 hours is that a lot of the rain, we're starting to get rain shadowed by the Coast Range, and I think that trend will continue. While we may see 1 or 2 more showers for the remainder of the day, by and large, we're done with the significant rainfall in the I-5 corridor. It's going to stay breezy and a little wet, with temperatures slowly easing back from those upper 50s. More rounds of rain in the forecast this week as we look ahead to tomorrow night and again Thursday, Friday, and lowering Cascade snow levels as well. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Tim?
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. We'll take a look at this video that shows the damage caused by a massive landslide that shut down a stretch of highway near Highway 229 near Slits. This doesn't appear to be the right video. That appears to be some coastal water video there. You can see debris from the damaged homes there. I guess it is. Actually, the landslide affected at least 5 homes between Kernville and Siletz. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says 3 of those homes are significantly damaged. Everyone was able to make it out safe. ODOT does not have a timeline for when that landslide will be cleared.